So I wanted to make this video about lying to get restraining orders, 50Cs, or there's different like types of them. And 50Bs all kind of has to deal with like basically somebody can't say something or do something. So I just want people to know, like, these restraining orders are to protect innocent people that are afraid for their lives and stuff. Like, people like terrified that are actually being harmed, that are actually in danger. They're not for you're upset at somebody and you just want them to stop posting about you. That's not what they're intended for. There's so many people that end up in jail and had their lives ruined because a person got upset. And no offense to the women out there, but it's usually women doing that stuff. As a matter of fact, I would say about 90% of the times people get this, it's women. It's women putting it on men. Now, um, for the victims that are justified, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you guys for what you're going through, but um, it's terrible. It happens to me. I can't be specific about, but I was inspired to make this video. But it's like, these they're meant to protect people, and so a lot of women have begun to abuse them. So in North Carolina, at least, you don't have to have any evidence of any wrongdoing to get one. I know technically it's a civil thing, but it still looks bad on a person's record. Um, and then if they have, the judge finding stuff, so a judge can still, you can still be innocent, and there can be no proof, and a judge can still give that to a woman. And the reason why they're so hard on this is because I forget the year, but years ago there was a woman who filed a restraining order on her husband or boyfriend or something, and so he ignored the restraining order, and he went over. This is a true story. I forget. I read it in college. But he ignored the restraining order, and he went to the person's house, and this went on for some time, and then eventually, like, the lady reported it to the police, and they didn't do anything. And then oh, and anybody watching this video, if you know the story, please put it in the comments, because I don't specifically remember, because I'm just talking unscripted. But this woman had got a restraining order. 50. There's a 50B and a 50C. She got a domestic. It's a domestic violence order against the person, and so the person kept violating, and the police, they didn't really do anything. And then eventually, she ended up being murdered by this person. I believe this person had kids. And so now, this is why when a woman, or generally women take them out, but men can't take them out, but generally women do. When a woman takes a restraining order out, they have to by law at least grant a temporary one. And then it doesn't take a lot to get a restraining order on a person, and depending on whatever it is, it can ruin a person's life. And so they don't play with that stuff because of that particular case. So, and I just think, well, I know for a fact that women abuse this. There's lots of men that go to jail behind this stuff. There's lots of men that, that get hurt by this stuff. And even though it's civil, I mean, it's kind of unfair, and it's meant to protect these women, but they use it to abuse, to abuse the power of what it's for, to hurt a man in general. I've uh I've I've had this done to me personal experience, and again, I can't talk about it, but this is terrible. And I think, in my opinion, I think domestic orders can be a good thing. But in my opinion, I think that they need to be used responsibly. Like in the beginning, there should be, sure, if it's an emergency or whatever, yeah, provide it. But I think when it comes down to making it stick, there should actually be evidence. You can go to court right now and lie on somebody, say something that's totally not true, and they'll grant it. And then, typically it's like 2 weeks later, you come to court. You don't have to have really any evidence. It can be just your testimony saying stuff, and then the judge, 9 times out of 10, has to grant it. And the reason is because if if they don't grant it, and and that person goes out and they kill that person that didn't get it, it looks bad on the judge. But I just think there needs to be more. There needs to be more evidence. There needs to be a baseline of what's acceptable or not. And just so you guys know, if if a woman gets caught, which this is extremely rare because it's kind of hard to like, they don't really go after it much, but they can be charged with perjury. It's the same thing as if you lie in the stand. This is a fact. But a lot of times women will perjure themselves and give false testimony in order to get a restraining order out of anger or jealousy or whatever, and that isn't right. So that's just what I wanted to say. I just wanted to give off of my personal experience as somebody going through it. And you've seen my videos. Whoever's seen my videos in the past, if you haven't seen them, you can understand this is a large part of it. So I was inspired to make this video. So anyways, you guys have a good night as my dog.